Hey there, I'm Amy from thecrazycraftlady.com. I'm going to share 2 new Valentine crafts today using oval trays from the dollar store. I'm not going to, oh, y'all can see my ring light. Ooh, okay. I'm going to share a couple of dollar store tray crafts. So these come in the party aisle at Dollar Tree. I've crafted with them before, and I realized they make awesome oval picture frames. So we're going to give it a try for some Valentine's crafts. Let's get making. All right, so for this craft, I started with just a plain silver plastic tray from Dollar Tree, and I first gave it a base coat of white Rust-Oleum chalk paint. This is just like my preferred. I almost use it as a primer now for a lot of my projects. You could spray paint this, but it was, I kid you not, like 30 below in Minnesota when I made this project, so that was not happening. Like even my dogs wouldn't go outside. So chalk paint it is. I just use a 1-inch flat paintbrush, do a solid coat and let it dry, and then I painted this pink. So bear with me because I didn't want to mix a custom paint color and then have paint left over or not enough and then have to try to mix more and match it. So overthinking definitely happened on this. So I had this folk art home decor chalk paint in the color blushed pink. And so what I did is I just kind of mixed it on the project with that white Rust-Oleum chalk paint to make it a little bit lighter. You'll see sometimes I have a spray bottle, just plain water. When I use chalk paint, sometimes it gets a little thick. And so I just spray it with water to thin it out so it spreads more smoothly and evenly. Also, I just really enjoy painting. I think it's super relaxing. It's kind of mindless. So I just kind of mixed the 2 colors together on the project until I had a lighter pink color that I liked. I let that first coat dry and then I went back with a second coat of my mixed paint once again until I had full coverage, and make sure that especially on the edges there you're painting in all different directions, up, down, left, right, to get in all those nooks and crannies of that pattern detailing around the edge of that oval tray there. But then I just grabbed this styrofoam heart from Dollar Tree and I used my pen blade initially thinking I would just cut it in half pretty easily, and that did not happen. So I've done this with like foam pumpkins at Dollar Tree before. The foam pumpkins are hollow inside, so they're pretty easy to cut in half. This foam heart was solid, so I actually ended up going into my kitchen and grabbing like my serrated bread knife, and that be very careful, watch your fingers. And I just like sliced it in half like I would a loaf of bread. And that worked pretty slick. It was a little bit messy with all that styrofoam. So I ended up having to grab my little desktop vacuum cleaner there to clean everything up. But then I just had a half a heart that I covered in roses. So I got these little stems from Dollar Tree, pop all the flowers and leaves off their stems, and then each one individually just add a dab of hot glue and then press the base of that flower right into the styrofoam. So I just started with the flowers. I did like a full arrangement of flowers covering the whole heart. And then I went back in and added the leaves and the little faux boxwood there. I just feel like that way, like you do the base coat of flowers, right? And then you can evenly space the greenery. I feel like it's just easier to make it look more balanced that way, to do, flowers first, greenery second, but it's up to you. I will say this heart didn't like give the heart vibes that I was hoping for. It looked more, I don't know. Leave me a comment. My feelings will not be hurt if you're like, that doesn't look like a heart, Amy, once you put the flowers on it. I won't be offended. But there you have it. And then I just hot glued the heart right to that oval tray. And then you have a little piece of Valentine wall decor. You could also like take this heart, and I've done this before, and make it a topiary. So pop it on a stick and put it in a pot. But that's it. For this craft, I started out with a plastic It's like a faux cut crystal tray from Dollar Tree, so it has all that little faux crystal detailing in it. I just did a base coat with plain white Rust-Oleum chalk paint. You could use a plain white primer, spray primer, whatever floats your boat. I always use a 1-inch flat paintbrush on these types of projects, and make sure you're just painting in all directions to get in all the nooks and crannies. Once that white coat had dried, I added a coat of pink chalk paint. This is Folk Art Home Decor chalk paint in the color Blushed Pink. And so for this, I started by painting around the edge first. And you really want to get into that little lip on the edge and paint the side of it. There's just a little lip around the edge of the oval tray there. So paint all the way around the edge and then paint the back flat surface of it, and make sure you're painting in all directions. I added a little bit of water here and there. Just chalk paint gets a little dry and hard to spread, so you can spray a little water to get it to thin out and spread more nicely. And then I printed a heart off of like Canva or Google Images, and I just used a pencil and a pen to transfer that image onto a piece of scrap cardboard. And then I just cut it out. I used heavy duty craft scissors to cut my cardboard. You could just eyeball a heart image as well if you just want to like draw a heart and cut it out. But just a little heart there. And then I grabbed this bright pink yarn from Dollar Tree. It's kind of thin, but it's kind of fuzzy too. And I just used hot glue. So pick one side that's going to be the back of your heart, right? And only add hot glue on that side. So as you're wrapping in different directions, you're going to need to secure it with hot glue. Otherwise, the yarn starts to slip out of place. But basically, take your time. And this took a little while because it was such a thin, when I bought it, I didn't realize how thin it was. I've done this before on other projects, and when you use a chunkier yarn, obviously it goes a little faster, but use what you got. And so just wrap in all directions until that cardboard heart is completely covered. And then by this time, my pink paint on my tray had dried, and I just wanted to give it a little bit more dimension, especially because it had all that texture on it. So I used antique gold rub and buff on a little piece of a clean dish sponge, and I very just lightly kind of distressed some of the edges and the detailing with gold, just to give it something extra. And then I also grabbed one of these, they're like seed starting pots from Dollar Tree, they're cardboard. I just cut it in half, and I also painted that gold with antique gold rub and buff. And so you'll see here we're making a topiary. So the gold pot is going to be the base, and then I just cut a little wooden dowel. I cut it down to a height that I thought looked nice on that oval tray, and I hot glued everything together. So just hot glue the dowel to the back of the heart, and then I grabbed a little piece of a round piece of styrofoam, and I just cut a little piece of it and hot glued that inside the pot so it would have something to secure to the tray with. Hot glue that all down, pop the wood dowel back in, and then I also secured the back of the heart with a little bit of hot glue. And then to cover up that styrofoam, I just grabbed a little bit of raffia, folded it into a little bunch there, and hot glued that right into the pot. And that was it, easy peasy. I think this is kind of whimsical, a fun little Valentine topiary craft. I think I might play around with this actually more for different holidays. I like this idea of using this cut crystal plastic tray, so stay tuned. Okay, so here we have my two finished Valentine tray crafts. Leave me a comment. Let me know about what you think about that heart, the flower heart. I'm not completely sold. It's not my favorite craft, but I do like it. But I'm really kind of thrilled about how that little topiary came out. I think it looks kind of whimsical, kind of fun. And for those who have been around the YouTube channel for a while, definitely more color than I normally craft with. So thanks for watching. Until next time, happy making.